Welcome to PPP, Power People Podcast from Denmark. Here we meet a broad group of people representing the Danish business life and society.
You could say that as a scout leader, and within the scout movement, is really about how to help young people find themselves and help them create a potential for actually acting and doing what have to be done. So if you're in the forest, it's raining, you need to build a shelter, it doesn't really work to sit down and cry. You need to get to it. And I think it built resilience in people. And I think when you look at NLP and SOMA Semantics, it's basically the same purpose. It's also about helping people to be more resilient so that they can function in a chaotic world where you cannot really predict what will happen tomorrow or the day after. And I think it's the same thing when you're in nature. You cannot control nature. When you're in business, you cannot control business. So there are some overlap, and then you see the method and the tools are slightly different, but I think the purpose are basically the same thing. I was a scout leader, but again, as a scout leader, you do it with no pay. So I had that idea back in the late 80s, you cannot live being a scout leader. So I decided to go to university, study chemistry, sales and marketing. I got a job. But still, in the job, I came back to what I was doing as a scout leader. Basically helping people perform. And on that journey, I discovered NLP as a method to do that very effectively. So you could say that in a way, I was on a journey where I suddenly came back and realized, wow, I can actually do exactly the same thing I did as a scout leader, but now in business. Basically helping people operate in chaotic systems, in systems where they cannot predict what's happening next. And when you work with leadership and sales, that is exactly the environment people find themselves in. And then I just found that NLP was an extremely useful tool to do that. I have learned from many great people over the years. And so I think I have more, in a way, combined ideas from others into what really fits me. And I think this is where being a scout leader, studying NLP, studying SOMA Semantics have really helped me get some structure around the way I want to lead and live. SOMA Semantics, SOMA is the body. Semantic are more the language. So you can say that it's similar to NLP. You see, in classic NLP, you can say that what is NLP? NLP is the study of successful behavior. And a lot of people who practice NLP are still starting from a problem position, where in SOMA Semantics, we help people start from where the problem isn't. We help people understand who they are, when they're truly themselves, when there's simply no problem. Basically, there's two things which can fundamentally drive people. Either getting away from what they don't want, what we call the burning platform, or getting to what they truly want, the burning desire. And it's very easy for people to utilize the away from the burning platform, because humans naturally very easily go to fear. It's very easy to scare people, and it's not very sustainable. So what my work guides me to is to help people create sustainable results. And I believe that happens much more effectively, not from a fear starting point, but starting from where there's no fear. I see the fear-based method used all over the world. I see it's being used, in schools, in businesses, in government, on all levels. Because it's so easy to scare people. So it gives this sense of fast results, but it doesn't give long-lasting results. So I would say I have seen the fear approach being used all over the world. I have also seen that the burning desire can work all over the world. So I think it's so basic human that I would call it pre-cultural. Today I'm mainly focusing on helping leaders because, again, there's only so many hours in a day. And so I very early took the decision, let me help somebody who then can help more. So that when I help one leader, I know that I'm not only helping one person, I'm helping that leader and all the people that leader have the potential to impact. So I typically work with groups of 10, 12, 20 people. For me, it's about helping the person start from where they need nothing to where they're already okay, where there's no problem, where they're basically okay. Because from this position, they have the possibility of connecting to what they really want to create in this world. Because it really speaks to their deeper purpose. So it have nothing to do with KPIs or external rewards. It's really about what they want to contribute with in this world, in this organization, in this system of which they are part. It's not linear. It's really dynamic. It's chaotic. And it's not that you can control every step of the way. You can take one step at a time. But again, knowing where you're going, you can always direct the next step in the right direction. You need to stay open and for input, and you do that more easily when you're really curious. I have several examples. I think I worked in an organization some years back, and I think one of my colleagues there said, "Wow, Henrik, when I really understood the power of what you're doing, I realized that I have spent a lot of time during my career trying to fix problems that would never have prevented me from getting my outcomes." So, because he was so much trained to start with the problems, instead of focusing on where he actually wanted to end up. And I think the more you focus on where you want to end up, the more effectively you can utilize your personal resources and the resources of the organization, because they can be aligned in relation to where you want to end up, not on all the things you want to prevent. There will be a lot of problems, but they are not setting the agenda. What defines the agenda is where you want to end up. That's what defined where you want to go, and also what you need to do, and maybe which things you need to handle or take care of. So I think you will still have to fix things, but only the things that really would help you get in the right direction. For me, everything is selling. Leadership is selling. Having a dialogue with a person is about selling your ideas. And I was running a workshop for a group of Danish doctors a few years back. And I asked them, so when you see a patient, what is the first question you ask when they come into your practice? And then they gave me a lot of different variation of the question, what's wrong? What's the issue? What's the problem? And then I asked them, quite frankly, say, why don't you start with this question? And the question was, why do you want to live? Because I think, again, what we see within the medical practice is that it's very easy to get commitment, but it's not very easy to get compliance in relation to the protocol and the treatment you prescribe. I think that's because you start with a problem. If you could help people understand why they want to live, I think they will stay more true to the protocol you prescribe them to actually follow. But again, when I say this, some people get really provoked because you cannot ask people why they want to live. I say, why not? What if they don't want to live? And they say, well, let them die. Why spend resources on saving a person that don't want to live? Set people free, also to die. It's not that difficult to die. I think most people want to live, but I think it creates a different dynamic in the treatment if people understand, wow, this is not just about surviving. This is actually about thriving. This is about getting the life you want. And it's difficult for a doctor to help a person get the life they want if they don't know why they want to live and what kind of life they want. And I think this example you can put into a lot of different contexts. Typically in sales, salespeople are being taught to go out and find the pain and the problem of the customers. And I think it leads to waste of energy and time. I much more believe that salespeople should go out and interact with customers, ask them, wow, what is it that you want to achieve? So that they can build the relationship and the solution around helping the customer get what they truly want. And when they're successful in doing that, they will also have fixed some problems. But it's not the problem that set the agenda. It's the desired state, it's the end point which are defining what we do together. And it just ends up creating more value. To be effective today, you really need to understand how to lead yourself. You need to have emotional intelligence. And I think the better you understand what you want to achieve, the better you can program the AI to help you do all the routine things for you. If you don't know where you're going, AI will not help you. AI will take over your life and start to run you. I think people who really have the power, people who know what they want, and who understand how to utilize AI, they will beat the people who don't know how to use AI. For me, I talk about AI as my personal assistant on steroids. It really helps me do all the things that I don't really like or think is fun much faster. But it only do it well when I know what I want it to do. I insist on focusing on what I really want to achieve. And it's a daily practice because there's so much out there that want to grab our attention to the burning platform. The wars, the crisis, it's being invented every day, it's being created every day, so it's very easy to get off track. You really need to, in a way, know how to lead yourself. One of the examples I sometimes use is that, back when Denmark closed in 2020 in March due to Corona, I went into the burning platform starting point because, wow, basically my whole company was being removed from me by one person's decision or maybe a government's decision. And it took me a few days to get back and say, okay, what is it that I actually want? And that released a lot of power and energy because even though we were sent home, there were still a lot of things I could do. So over that year, I finished 2 books and I created a platform which have made my life and my business much stronger than before Corona. And that didn't happen because I was focusing on problems. That happened because I was focusing on what I wanted to achieve past Corona. So you could say that instead of looking into the crisis, I used these ideas to actually look through the crisis. And that gave me the information about what to do now, which could actually help me go through it, not just walk into it. What it also did for Accurity World, my company, was that we went from being a local player to a global player. Because during Corona, we had to go in and do our training virtually. And suddenly, when you do trainings virtually, it doesn't really matter whether you are 5 kilometers away from your customer or 10,000 kilometers away from your customer. So today, we are running trainings all over the world. Over the last year, I have done training in New Zealand, Australia, in Shanghai, in US, all over Europe. And I think I can actually thank Corona and those years for now having a business which operates globally.